Hi everybody. Uh, Welcome to this video that's basically going to be talking about how the class is going forward with the edict that things need to be online going forward the rest of the semester. And so I'll walk through in this video what's the process a week's going to look like in this new version of the class, how this is going to map onto what we've done before, and all other elements related to that. Now, just to give a general sort of introduction here, if any of you have taken my OLS 565 Employer Relations class over the summer, or if you're going to take it this summer, that's a plug for the class, it's certainly going to have some similarities to that type of setup. Because of the change of not having physical meeting, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going to more of a weekly type setup. And so instead of everything leading up to Wednesday of the week where we meet and we chat, as we were doing before in person, it's going to be potentially more spread out. And so to my mind, at least, to make this class work the best, we need to make it fit the online format a little bit better. And so you'll have more flexibility of when you do stuff than with the, okay, Wednesday is going to be when things happen. And so what you see behind me is a slide that goes over the various things that will happen each week. And I'll go through these just in a little bit of detail now. If you have questions, anything, certainly let me know, or other types of issues as they come about. Now, what you're going to see is for the weeks going forward, basically every week is going to start with a Gordon intro video. So I will talk about the topic itself, what we're doing, some things to highlight from the book or from other content. I'll talk about the types of things we're doing that week. Now, one thing to note here is this is going to be different from class, where a decent percentage of it is me sort of lecturing at the front, or at least me leading discussion in some way. In this case, these intro videos are often going to be relatively short. The goal is less than 10 minutes to sort of get the ball rolling on your thoughts, to remind you about what's going to be happening. It isn't something that replaces all the learning we would do in a lecture. But it introduces the topic, makes you think about it a bit as well. So these intro videos will be every week. I'll have that video. It will sort of set the course for what we're doing. It will highlight some important things. A lot of the content that you would have seen through slides is now going to happen through, instead of slides I'm presenting in a physical class, slides that we present it to the website. So you'll see things that look kind of similar to what we've done before. You're going to look through them, review them. That will get at some of the learning we'll do. The video links, the videos that we've watched in class before, those video links will now be on Blackboard. And so you'll see the slides, and then under them you'll often see several video links to stuff that we'll look at. Those, of course, will be similar to what we've done in class. There'll be examples. There'll be things that build on what we're doing. There'll be ways of looking at metaphors or things that we could apply them to. So pretty similar in terms of how they're used. They're taken out of the slides themselves for more easy access to look at. And so you might want to look at the slides, and when you get to an area where it says watch the video, you could watch the video at that point, go to the link on Blackboard. You could as well look at all the slides and then watch the video in some other order. That would be acceptable as well. We will have weekly articles, so we will have those additional readings as well as things from Morgan. So you're still reading Morgan, still reading the additional articles. And so they'll be online, the weekly articles will be online like they were before. And we can have other content during weeks as well. A lot of times those will be video links, most likely, to other things to look at. But depending on the week, we might have other things or other stuff going on. So you'll see that in the folder. So the weekly folder, which before you would see slides for the week, slides from the Leading Our Learning people, and stuff and additional readings and stuff, all of that is going to be the same structure. So you've kind of used the structure. It's just going to be more robust and more essential to what we're doing because we don't have the face-to-face element. Now, participation in the class has changed with this new setup. And so basically discussion questions in a weekly forum are going to be how we do participation from now forward. So you'll watch all this stuff over here, you'll look through things, and then you'll talk to others about what's going on through discussion questions in the weekly forum. And so that's how we're replacing the face-to-face discussions we would do, as well as potentially some of the exercises too. That's what we'll be doing through the discussion board. So basically for your partition grade, we're about partway through this semester. It's worth 70 points or 7% of your grade. Basically, we've got about half of that left. So I will be grading your discussion board posts coming up. What I want you to do is interact with the discussion. Make sure you make multiple posts. I want a post where you respond to the question that's being asked or the exercise you're asked to do, as well as to comment on some other people's things too. Now, if you took 565 already, that has a lot more specific of the number of posts and what you're supposed to do. With us just jumping into this mid-semester, I'm not doing that in the same rigorous same number. Just you should definitely respond to my question, and then you should definitely make a comment or two on other people's posts and be part of the discussion. So we learn a lot from that discussion, and so participating will help your learning and what you're doing. The point structure of this class is not set up to incentivize from a point perspective significantly, oh yeah, I've got to do a lot on the discussion board. But it is a big way in which you will learn and engage in that discussion that is so rich that we've had in the physical classroom. Just about every week we will have journals still, reflections on that week and what you've learned. These journals are basically due Monday at 11:59 p.m., essentially the next week we have. So if we're talking about flux and transformation is the first thing up, well, we'll do everything for that week. And then after that week ends, that Monday, as we go into the next week, by the end of that Monday, you're going to be submitting to a Dropbox. This is my journal that thought about that stuff, as well as this is my response to the readings that are coming up. And so in that case, there will be some balance of when you do readings, how that works. Probably in a week, the early part of the week is going to be focusing on the material for that week, what's going on. As you get towards the second half of the week, more towards Thursday, Friday, that's probably when you're going to start reading stuff for the next week so you can jump right into it to the next one. And so we don't have as easy as that setup. Sort of Wednesday is when we do our thing and then we move on to the next one. So make sure that you are ready. By the start of that week, by Monday morning, you should be ready to start talking about stuff, starting to interact with these slides and all of that. And the weekly articles will be up as they were before ahead of time. So you'll read those weekly articles essentially before you start getting into the content significantly. You're probably going to want to look at that stuff and do that. And I'll reference some of that stuff certainly in my intro videos sometimes, as well as they'll be referenced in the slides similar to what you would have seen on a Wednesday. Now, the other big assignments in this class still exist. The term paper idea, it's been moved back a week, so it's due Sunday, April 12th. And the term paper and handout are still due finals week, Wednesday, May 6th, 11:59. Note for the term paper idea, if you want to get in early, I'll give you feedback on your term paper early. The negative of moving it back a week, of course, is there's less time for when I give you feedback to revise and work on it. So if you want to get it in early, that might be a good strategy for you. The term paper is due the same time as it was before. The handout that we talked about, it does look like there will not be physical meetings during finals week. And so I'll be working on what might be a good way for us to still interact with each other, still share our papers with each other. And I'll let you know as we get there. The handout is basically going to be the same as is described on the assignment sheet, so do look there for what it's going to be. You're just not going to hand it to people physically. We won't have a physical roundtable discussion, but I'll be figuring out what's a good way to replace that in the setup. So this is the structure we're going with. Let me know if you have questions. As I said, we will have basically the current week, then the next week content will be open for you to look at. Especially in terms of starting to do the readings. If you run into issues or tech stuff, let me know right away and all of that. So I'm hoping this will run relatively smoothly considering And so that's part of the reason I'm using a pretty similar model to an online class I've done before. I have comfort and expertise in teaching it this way. And so therefore, I think that should translate where we shouldn't have as many technical or screw ups related to that, hopefully. So that's the plan. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you on the discussion boards and all that.